right, y'all. Welcome back. This is the Bluechip Breakdown with your host, Bull and P. And the pregame show, this is just such a big game, P, because playoff implications. We're sitting up in here watching games. We had to wait for the Georgia-Florida game to get to halftime, but I'm hoping that Florida can pull it out. I think that'd be huge for us, but all that type of stuff doesn't matter. You know, we saw who else lost today? I mean, it was close games. You lost today, yeah. So Miami goes down. But, you know, there is more to come. I think that for Tennessee, really, and for Oklahoma, for a lot of teams in the SEC, and in other conferences too, this is playoff football now. Like, I expect for this to feel like a playoff game. You know, there's a lot of things we're going to be going through. We want to get y'all's thoughts. And I think that the kickoff tonight, P, should be around, like mid to low 50s. Maybe like upper 40s. I think there was a chance of rain. I don't think we're gonna see too much of that. But it's just like a perfect dark mode. Crowd should be absolutely freaking rocking sort of a game. And I think that Tennessee is gonna play well. But Pete, what's your opening thoughts?
Like you said, this is a freaking pre-playoff game for us and for OU. I mean, this is a pretty much a winner go home type of deal for both these teams. So I expect this thing to be just like you said, playoff caliber level of play. I think the intensity, the urgency, the play calling. What was that movie? I can't remember that movie, whatever movie that was. And the announcer kept saying, I think it was Longest Yard. The announcer kept saying, it's the playoffs. Can't hold anything back, or whatever he kept saying. I mean, you can't hold anything back today, man. This is all or nothing. And you know, I expect Heupel to have some things dialed up. This is his old team, his alma mater. You know, kind of maybe ended on bad terms there. I think there's still some bad blood there for sure. And you know, he wants to put on these guys. And I think the team takes it personal. They carry that weight on their shoulders as well. And I expect them to come out here and play inspired football for 4 quarters. I think we'll come out here with kneeling behind us, with that crowd going, with the night mode going, or dark mode going. I mean, I expect this thing to really go off to a good start. And then we should be able to sustain that. Can we make the second half adjustments we need to? Because Venables, his staff, they'll adjust. We have to have a first half deal and second half deal, make the in-game adjustments, and I think we'll be fine today.
Yeah, love that. So let's tap in with the chat real quick, P. So for my dog right here, big game tonight, you already know. Clay feels confident in our offense. I feel confident in all phases of the game tonight just because we have to be locked in. Everybody's got to be locked in. Go Vols, love that. Go Big Orange. This one from Fuzzy. Good day to you. Good evening to you. Almost evening to you as well. Vandy lost 2. Yeah, so that one actually kind of probably didn't help Tennessee. In all honesty, I don't think that really helps us because we still have to play Vandy. So teams we still have to play, we kind of want them to keep on losing or keep on winning. But either way, I mean, I just look at it like this. All you can do is win out. Win out and how things play or how things play out. It just is what it is. So from Los, he's saying, let's go defense. Reggie White is watching. Love that. Yeah, man. I wish we had him out there, boy. Maybe that's if we get like a Reggie White sort of a game where somebody just takes over from the front.
Wouldn't that be something?
Love to see that. And Charles, 480. Oh, man. I hope that you're right. I hope that you're right.
Could happen.
Okay. So saying that Coach Seth probably had a lot of good input.
Good point.
I think that's an excellent point because, you know, obviously he's coming from that staff. It's pretty much the same staff outside of the offense, but he should have plenty of input on the overall mindset. And then, you know, Heupel's coached with these guys too. I mean, he knows these guys. So both staffs know each other well. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So Adam is saying he has a feeling that we're going to play amazing tonight. I'm glad that the energy is consistent. It feels like there's a lot of folks feeling that way. I'm going to tap into the poll in just a second too, Pete. All right, so this one right here from Keith. He's saying that the defense can't stop anyone. You know what? We're going to take you on up. And look, I'm not doing it to be disrespectful to you, but I just want people to know it is game day. And we want the positive energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want the positive energy here because we're locked in. Just like we're playing a coach, and I know we're not, but I think that our fans should be locked in too. You know, that's just how I look at it. All right. Okay, yeah, so somebody's getting on. Let's go on to Adam, and then we're going to try to wrap it up with this. All right, so our D-line should eat tonight. They have 4 offensive linemen out. That's a fact. Defensive scores, I would love to see that. Okay, and this one right here saying no. All right. Let me check it on this poll. 100% saying that Tennessee's going to win this game. So there is a lot of confidence, and I love to see that. That's what we're here for. All right, so P, as far as as we're speaking about confidence, not to throw anybody off, because we're going to do this for both teams, but what are some of the things that Tennessee needs to be worried about in this game? This is my top 7, P. So number one, Oklahoma, they bring a whole lot of blitzes. They bring them from everywhere. They're really good at that. And it's not just with the blitzes, but even like with their coverages, they're really good at hiding what they're in. So that is the number one most concerning thing for me. Can we get that picked up? If we can, if we have counters to it, then Tennessee's going to have a very good night. Number two, man, tackling out in space. This is a defense that will make us tackle out in space. We haven't been very good at that. Really, I would say that for the defense, because someone kind of talked on that, but for the defense, if we can just come out and literally tackle, we're going to be fine. That's most of our problems. It's not so much about the scheme or anything else. It's just folks need to tackle. Number three, this is an offense that's going to target the middle of our passing defense, which hasn't been good. So do we have an answer to that? Four, they could have some new backs out there. So number 24, he's a bigger guy, 240 pounds. The other guy who's been starting number 6, he's just a freshman. So I think that could mix some things up. We never want to let this team start running. And then number 5, like we talked about it, just like a couple of seconds ago, both of these staffs know each other very, very well. So how is it? Who knows the answers to the other side of it better? And then 6, Tennessee has some veteran injuries. We got Colton Hood, who is dealing with the calf strain, and Arion Carter. We're going to talk about this now. P. Arion Carter is going to play. And the members on our Patreon, they heard it first. We told them that early in the week, that AC is going to play. So how does that look? Just because he has 2 turf toes. If he, I'm just going to stop right here for just a second because I want to get your thoughts. If AC is anything less than about 85%, if he's out there and if he's a liability, I'm going to be irate with this staff. But what are your thoughts on that?
Exactly the same, man. If you're not 100%, I understand you want to give your all to Tennessee. You want to fight through some pain and play hurt. You feel like the team really needs you. And, hey, we do need you. But maybe we need you more in just a leadership role on the sideline. If you're less than 100%, you're out there, you're trying to make plays, but you don't quite have the physical ability to do it because you're running on 2 gimpy toes. I mean, that's tough. That's really tough. And so you're actually hurting the team more, I think, if you're less than 100%. Trust your teammates. We talk about all the time in football. There's 11 guys on the field. Trust those guys to do their freaking job. Trust Perlotti, trust Harmon, trust Ed Spillman. Trust those guys behind you that you can help coach them up on the sideline, help prep them up, help give them the right keys, and let them go out there and play because they are at 100%. And when they're at 100%, they probably give you more than what they probably give us more than what you're able to give us when you're, like you said, like 70%, 75%. So we'll see how Coach Inge rotates that, manages it, because I think AC's a guy loves to play, loves to compete. He's not going to pull himself out. You're going to have to step up, Coach Inge, whoever it is, Coach Heupel maybe even, and say, hey, listen, maybe Tim Banks, whoever it is, say, hey, AC, love you. Let the other guys play because you're not 100% tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And last thing here for Tennessee is that obviously there's a lot of pressure. It's pressure on both teams because this is a playoff situation. This is pretty much do or die. It's not want to go home because you get to keep on playing. But in all honesty, what are you really playing for outside of pride? Which I'm all for that, but I know that there are higher standards inside of that building, just like we as fans have high standards for this team. And it's not just to go out there and dadgum, lose and not have a chance at the dadgum title. So as far as Oklahoma, the number one thing for me is that they have young offensive tackles. And I don't know if number 66 is going to go. He's been doubtful, but he's been their backup right tackle. I think that he's better playing at right tackle. The Oklahoma faithful might tell you different, but for me watching the film, I say, dog, we're going to eat number 70, who's their, now starting right tackle, true freshman. I think we'll eat him up. And then on the opposite side at left tackle, there's another true freshman playing. But number 71, who's been kind of spelling him. I mean, listen, he's given up the highest pressure rate on their offensive line. He might go, might not go. Either way, that's not a huge deal. But I think that that's something that Oklahoma needs to be worried about. They have to have an answer there. They have to have something to counter. They can't just go to straight drops because it's going to be a problem for them. But number 2 and 3, I think that their offensive coordinator is unsure of, the rhythm of what's this, what makes this team go. Quarterback, kind of like same thing. I kind of feel like they're, last few games, trying to do too much. And it just doesn't feel like there's a good rhythm within their system. But that plays into Tennessee's hand. Now, number 4, like we said with Tennessee, this was our last thing at number 7, but pressure. There's a lot more pressure on Oklahoma, on their staff. I think that Venables, if they lose this game, going to be a big-time problem, Pete. He might be on about there. His seat's already hot. But they're also on the road. Tennessee has the luxury of playing at home. And then, too, while we're talking about playing at home in England, I mean, dog, like you're on the road in what should be absolutely the most hostile environment that college football has ever seen tonight. That's what I'm hoping. So, they got all that type of stuff that's working in Tennessee's favor. Then, number 6, they have some small cornerbacks. We got some bigger wide receivers. Down the field, they're not great. Pete, you talked about it. They're not great down the field. We're outstanding down the field. I think that's going to be a problem. And then, like we said, for Tennessee, same thing for both staffs. They know each other pretty well. But Pete, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, man, I think you're hitting on the head with 2 and 3 there, man. The OC and the quarterback kind of being unsure. There's not really an identity to this offense right now. It's not really a rhythm. They're trying to do a bunch of different things. I think they're still trying to adjust to Mateer post-thumb injury, post-thumb surgery. Still haven't quite found the rhythm yet. And I think the fact that the run game hasn't consistently been there is another thing. They just don't really have something they can just turn to and lean on. So they're trying to find themselves. I think we'll see a lot of the quick game stuff today. Like you said, get the ball out in space, see if we can tackle. But I think the fact that their run game's been limited. If our D-line can show up like it did earlier in the year and play like we expect them to play all season long, we can get some consistent pressure off the edges, up the interior of that offensive line as well, and we limit that run game. I mean, it's going to be a long night for Mateer. I think we'll get back to it. You've been touching on all week. You said 6, 7, 8 sacks. I could see that happening if the D-line shows up the way it's capable of showing up tonight.
Yeah, excellent points. Okay, so moving on. Let's take a look just real quick. So this is Tennessee's defense versus Oklahoma offense. This is how the rosters look kind of like on paper, just from like a talent standpoint. These numbers come from 24/7 Sports. So Tennessee's defense has 27 Bluechip caliber players. Oklahoma's offense has 22. Y'all can see where all the talent's at for both of these teams. And then here, let me actually take ourselves out of this P, but this is their 2 deep on offense, right? So you can see their offensive line, their sizes, again, just their 2 deep. Some of those guys might not be playing like, 66. I'm not sure if 66 is even up there on this one, but white is going to be tight ends, yellow is their quarterbacks, blue is their skill players, so running backs, wide receivers. And like I said, number 24 might get the start, and then they've got some shorter wide receivers that start, on the outside and on the inside. Number 5 is an absolute stud. They look good running the routes and all that type of stuff, but just not a whole lot of size with their skill players, Pete. So any thoughts here?
I mean, like you said, man, we're going to be able to play in space. It's going to be a lot of stress probably put on our stars today. They're going to have to be able to cover those fast slot guys. Number 5 can absolutely fly. So how do we match up with him? How do we match up whenever they're trying to get the ball out to the perimeter quickly and give guys an opportunity to make plays in space? Especially without AC, and when he's not 100%, but when he is 100%, he gets there downhill quick, pretty good open field tackler as well. Can Spillman, can some of those backup guys, Perlotti, who I think this fits him perfectly. I think he's a space player. I think he'll get downhill. So, those are some things to look at as far as their perimeter guys. And then their O-line being as banged up as they are, same deal from last year. They were really banged up front. We got after them last year, I believe. If I remember correctly, had like 4 or 5 sacks, I think, in that game. Can we replicate that, tonight? And take advantage of a beat-up offensive line, a young, inexperienced offensive line. In Neyland, remember the snap count. I mean, it's going to be silent. We should be able to time it up. It's a huge advantage for the defense whenever it's that loud. So I expect us to really eat up front tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So moving on, these are the stats, right? Our defense versus our offense. They're winning in most of these categories, but like you just said, Pete, we should be able to generate some pressure. We can see where we're at their number 6 to their number 86 as far as getting sacks and giving up sacks. I love to see that. Rushing-wise, we have a better run-stopping defense in their rushing offense. It could be some changes. We're just going to keep on telling you that. Number 24 is different. So if you look at the stats over the course of the year for Oklahoma, you say, well, they run the football too well. For the past couple of weeks, they've been running it better. Part of that is 24 has been running it more, especially last week. He had a great game. Almost came back and won the game for him. But will Oklahoma stick to their run is one of the questions. So outside of that, man, turnovers. This offense, exact same turnover stuff as Tennessee. They're ranked number 73, so is Tennessee. They have 6 picks and 4 fumbles, so does Tennessee. But our defense is one of the best scoring defenses in the entire country. Okay, we're number 1 in the SEC. We are like top 3 in the country. That's amongst all schools. We might be number 1 with Power 4, which makes me feel great. So this is their key players, right? We're not going to spend too much time here. We've already talked about it. Y'all just take like a little mental snapshot. But they do have guys who do some good things. I think that all of their skill players, so wide receivers and tight ends, they all run good routes. They all have good speed, most of them anyway. But these guys here, like they all have some good speed. Number 6, I had him as a key guy, but and you talked about it too, P. I think that him getting to the edges, that could be a problem. He has really good speed. But like in between the tackles types of stuff, not too concerned about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have a talented roster now, and we know that coming into it. Very talented roster. I mean, the same thing comes down to every week for us, man. We just got to execute on the fundamentals. If we can do that, tackle, ID, alignment, assignment, that whole deal, and just play sound, fundamental football, do our job, cover your zone plus being, do the simple stuff at a high level, we'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Okay, so moving on. This right here is the passing map, like we said, that they like to target the middle. Okay, so we're just showing y'all that. This is what Ole Miss did to them. They took away all that middle stuff, and that's both of their quarterbacks. So this is just an overview, and let me take ourselves out of this, but this is just an overview of their offense as a whole. Right, this is what they like to do. They like to go small with their personnel, so not a whole lot of tight ends. They might change that up today, who knows. But up to this point, that's not how they played. So spread the field out, try to run without as many big bodies. I think that plays into Tennessee's hand very well. And as far as the different types of runs that they do, they're very, very versatile with it. Inside, outside, that's pretty much all that you need to know. The routes, as we just touched on, a whole lot of stuff that goes to the shallow middle, but they'll also run those slot fades. That's what most of the vertical stuff is. They can draw it up from that standpoint. I'm not overly concerned. Not saying that we won't give up any passes down the field, but that's not my biggest concern in this game. And then, crossing patterns, hitches, slants, just a bunch of stuff that goes to the middle. As far as the weaknesses be, I think their offensive line is average, okay? Maybe that might be kind of generous. It's not very good. And their running game, I think, is just okay. Will they take a step forward? Small wide receivers, small tight ends, and I think they're just too finesse. If they find a way to maybe, stick to the running game more, do a little bit more like ground and pound with some bigger players, bigger personnel, that could be, like I said, totally different story. But what are your thoughts here, Pete?
Yeah, we'll see what their offensive game plan is, right? I think the OC came from Washington State, if I'm not mistaken. So, he's really getting his feet wet, acclimated to the SEC and the caliber of ball we play here. It's a whole different ball game, and so I think he's starting to learn that, which is why we've talked about the lack of rhythm they've had. He's had to adjust on the fly. This isn't whatever conference that is that they're in. This is a whole different. We don't even know what they're in. This is a whole different deal here. So I expect them. I expect Venables to probably have been a part of that offensive game plan a little bit. And I'm always surprised, like you've been touching on all week. I think they're going to try to get the run game going. Put 24 in there. See if they can get downhill. Stay ahead of the chains. And I think we'll see a lot of quick game today. Whether that's getting out to the flats, or whether that's those little stick routes, those little spot routes. I think we'll see a lot today too, as they try to nullify the pass rush and just stay ahead of the chains tonight.
Yeah, and something that we've also touched on is will Tennessee try to run some more 4-3? I just think that obviously with AC kind of being banged up, might not be the best situation. Hey, let's roll out more linebackers if you think about it that way. But I think that if Tennessee stars aren't stepping up, which they haven't played very well in coverage all year long, then why not just go to have a more like athletic linebacker out there? We can do a better job versus the run. And then, we can still run the zone concepts on defense, which I know people hate zone, but it works out. It all depends on who you're playing and how you're playing that zone. But anything can work. That part of it really doesn't matter. But what fits our personnel the best? I just think that it right now is probably 4-3. But what are your final thoughts on that?
The 4-3 is interesting, man, and I wouldn't mind seeing us do it. Like you said, it's not we're trying to play man or whatever when we're in that 4-3 necessarily. We're going to play zone. And I think those backers can cover zone just as good as the Stars have to this point in the year. The Stars haven't been great in zone coverage this year. So, yeah, put a Pilati out there. Put a Spillman. Put a Jordan Burns out there. Gives you a bigger body, gives you more run support, but also you're getting pretty much the same deal from a pass perspective. And I think it gives you a little bit more diversity in terms of how you blitz. I think you can blitz and be a little more effective if you have, 7 true front 7 type guys instead of putting into going to a nickel package where these guys are like 108 pounds trying to blitz off the edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now we're going to be taking a look at Tennessee's offense versus Oklahoma defense, and there's a lot of good things here. We spend so much time breaking down the opposite team. We don't spend enough time talking about our own team, but we can talk a lot about our guys, especially on this offense. Let me take a quick little break here, and let me get to just like a couple of these chats. Let me just pull these up. So Dirty Higgins is saying that our guys have to win for Coach Heupel, and they need to make this personal since Oklahoma is his ex. I think so too, and I mean, he talked about it last season, that the team had a little something extra for him. You know what I'm saying? Gotta have that extra this year too, and I fully feel like not just with the players, but with the fans too. You know what I'm saying? Like, let Coach Heupel know why he wants to stay here with us, because if Venables gets fired, you think that they're not going to try to contact Hype? I'm not. I don't want to stir it up right now, but I'm just saying, like, do you think that that's not? I mean, that could be an option
For sure.
So right here from Dirty Higgins, he's also recommending our Patreon. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for shouting us out. But yeah, for sure, y'all can go and join us on Patreon actually for free. We have plenty of free content there too. Patreon.com/Bluechip Breakdown. But on the like paid tiers, we do give y'all a whole bunch of content. We actually dropped some breaking news earlier today. Pretty big news. So that's something that y'all hear about here. In the next probably couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? But you get to hear that type of stuff here first. Okay. So as far as the roster with our offense, we have 20 blue chip caliber players. That's 5 and 4 stars to Oklahoma's 30 on defense. They've got some real dudes, P. Some real dudes, and this is a look at their 2 deep. All the red is their front 4. All the white is their stand-up linebackers, and then the blue is their secondary. So, dude, P, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, they're freaking loaded. I mean, they are freaking loaded up front. That D-line, I mean, it reminds us a lot of our D-line from last year. I mean, you just got wave after wave of guys you can put in. I mean, 3 5-stars on that D-line. And they got other guys that ain't 5 stars, but they're just as good. I mean, they got some beef, some twitch. It's going to be tough sledding. I think we're trying to run it right at these guys. It's going to be tough sledding. We'll see what type of game plan we have to be able to nullify that a little bit. Maybe take advantage of some of the games and stuff they play on the inside with the stunts and twists and all the different blitzes they do. I like their linebackers a lot. Very athletic group. I think they run well. They play well in space. And then I love the safeties too, man. I mean, you talk about number 5. 6'5", 242, but he's a linebacker, but they put him at safety some, can run. And then number 3, what's his size? I don't know his size. I mean, this kid, 213. I think he's about 220 in real life. I mean, he's a big old guy. So they almost have a prototypical, like if you're creating a team on the game, they pretty much have a lot of those pieces. But the one area of weakness that we talked about already this week, the corners, a little bit short there. We got length on the outside. We got hot point guys. We got quick little slot type guys. We got a little plethora of guys that we can put out there. I think we can attack them on the edge, but we'll see if we can get the run game going tonight against a very stout front 7 for these guys.
Yep, and one of the guys that isn't up here is because when we did this, he wasn't playing, but Gentry Williams, number 9, playing the corner, who is one of their starters. He's missed a couple of weeks, but he will be back today. He's got a little bit better size. I think he's like 5'11", 6 feet tall, something like that. To me, he's just like another kind of like typical SEC cornerback. I think that these guys are really good with like the short stuff, the maybe more or less intermediate stuff. But once you double move them and stuff down the field, like they got a freshman, number 4. I don't know if he'll keep on starting. He's looked pretty good close to the line of scrimmage, but down the field doesn't look great. 23, he's on like 5'9". So I don't know who Gentry's going to be starting over, but there are some holes there, and I feel very confident that this offense can do some nice things versus it. So this is how things look just as far as the stats for our offense versus their defense. We're winning in most of these categories. They're doing a good job of generating pressure and sacks. Most of that's coming off of the blitzes. We talked about that to start things off. If we know who to pick up, we'll be fine. And then also, P, like to start the year off, I know that David Sanders wasn't playing, but I really like Jesse Perry playing at right tackle. We had some guys playing in different spots. Wendell Moy goes to the right guard. You got Shem Unrab at your left guard. But now we got Wendell Moy going back to the left, which is where we thought that he would be playing at. We got Jesse Perry playing at right guard, and then David Sanders playing at right tackle. I love the idea of the skill sets on that offensive line. Have they gotten to the point where they're fully gelled? I think that they've taken some steps every week that they've been able to play like as a unit. But if they can really get over that hump, this is the week for them to do it. It's going to be a tough one too, but this is the time that they really need to step up.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Just we saw last week they pretty much went with that lineup exclusively for the most part, with David Sanders at right tackle, Perry at right guard. We saw a lot more of that last week. The week before against Bama, we were kind of mixing and matching. I think we really have our set 5 and maybe kind of our 6-man rotation up front. And I think now going into the second week in a row of that consistency, we should see that pay dividends for this group up front.
For sure. And then turnovers, man. This is a defense that doesn't turn the football over very much. We got to keep that consistent in this game. We have to find a way to just take care of the football, man. It's just as simple as that. Some of this stuff is not rocket science. It's pretty basic fundamentals. If Tennessee can do that, I really feel very good about this matchup, okay? So this is some of their guys. I mean, we talked about some of them already, but they got a whole bunch of dudes on defense. I didn't put enough defensive linemen up here at all, but I wanted to try to mix it up some. But y'all can see how that looks. I think their linebacking core is really deep. They're really deep in the secondary, too, just as far as players who can play. and really deep up front. I mean, but the top end of their front is just. It's about as good as there is in the country.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much success teams have had running the ball. I know they're number 6 in the country running the ball, but I think Ole Miss did a decent job. I'm trying to think that the teams that had success running on them, was it all like mobile quarterback teams, or did anybody that was just a true pocket team have success? Like, I don't know, because I think having that threat of a mobile quarterback, obviously that helps you out in the box. We talk about this all the time. When that quarterback's a threat to pull it and keep it, that's going to hold those run defenders just a split second longer, can give guys a chance to get up to the block, get a better angle, or obviously give the back a chance to sneak through a crease because the backer's taking a step the wrong way. So we'll see if we can get the run game going. It wasn't great last week. Did we take it personal this week, and can we get that thing going? Because I think we'll need the run game to be effective tonight.
Oh, I think 100%. Like that's, and we haven't really even, I mean, you covered it, but I hadn't gotten there yet. But yeah, that's going to be huge in this game. If Tennessee can run the football well, if we have some answers to how they like to blitz, if we can time things up where, whenever they're running all those stunts and you get people out of their gaps and we're getting downhill quick, if we can average about 4 yards per carry, this game, that's another factor. This game can get out of control quick. But yeah, it really has been teams that their quarterbacks are more mobile. They're not really good versus the options. They're not good versus quarterback draws, any type of draws, screens, just like the typical things that you run versus teams that like to blitz. They have holes inside of their defense from that standpoint. But it does put the pressure on you where you have to be able to execute. So if the execution is on point, if we see the field well, pre-snap, post-snap, I also think that Joey Aguilar, he's got to go through his reads because the coverage is going to, you might not know what that is. Hopefully he knows better than what we did. But either way, yeah, there are some levels to it. There are some challenges. I don't want to sit here and act like it's going to be super easy because it definitely ain't. It's going to be a challenge. But it's one that I think that Tennessee's up to. So let me take us out of this so they can see this whole personnel thing. So the defensive personnel, this is a defense that the best in the SEC. They run a ton of 4-3. They run more 4-3 than anybody else in the whole country. So most teams are going to be running nickel. But they're at about 54% of the time. And they'll run it versus, one tight end sets, two tight end sets. They don't care. Just because they got some linebackers that are versatile enough that they can do it. As far as blitzing, they're blitzing at about 44, almost 45% total, more than any team in this conference. Versus the run, I think that they're like number 2 or number 3. Versus the pass, they're at number 1, 55% basically, which it's tough. I mean, you should be able to have your hots, with your run pass option game. That's going to be huge for Tennessee, something that we're really, really good at. I think we will have some answers, Pete. And then just as far as like their coverages, cover 3, they run that maybe the most at 25%, but then you've got the unknowns coming from PFF. A lot of that stuff that was unknown, it was some, to me, Pete, looked like some sort of man. You talked about cover 6. I saw some of that. That does make sense because it looks like one side's maybe playing man, the other side's playing some type of a zone. And sometimes I've even seen where it's like you have people on both sides playing man and playing zone, and in the middle playing man and zone, and it's just looks crazy. But again, I think the coach Heupel knows how to scheme it up for us. Yeah. But weaknesses, P, I talk about mobile quarterbacks, the option game, screens, jump balls. So what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think someone commented on it earlier, and I know you touched on it too. I think having Latrell on staff this year, I think it's going to help us a lot, helping us identify some of these coverages and what exactly they're trying to do and why they're doing. Because it's probably a thing if we're in the film room with them, we also will learn a lot, and we say, hey, based on this formation, based on this alignment, this is how you're playing it or whatever. And so it probably make a lot more sense if we were in that room. Well, Latrell's probably been in that room, so he's the guy that probably can really break it down to Coach Heupel, to Coach Halsey, to Joey Aguilar, and say, hey, listen, this is what they're trying to accomplish. And we touched on this too. The coverages are so crazy. Like, you can't get too crazy with your coverages because you need to be sound. I think sometimes they're unsound with how they're playing things. We can exploit that. And I could see this thing getting kind of similar to Kentucky as far as us just hitting deep shots. I could see it happening that way. We'll see that really good pass rush. They're much better, much more talented defense. And, Venables is obviously a great defensive mind. But I could see us going over top a ton tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So with all of that being said, man, we've pretty much gone through, just like a quick little crash course on the Oklahoma offense and defense. But I really think that this is going to be a big game for Brazzle. He can have a good day, but I feel like they're going to try to double team him. I've seen them versus teams that have bigger wide receivers or true kind of like number 1 threat wide receivers that they do, they double team them. So that means that Braylon Staley, Mike Matthews, they should be able to absolutely eat, like they should get off. And I'm looking forward to it. This could also maybe be a game where our running backs coming out of the backfield, if they can catch the damn football, they can have a big day from that standpoint too. Joey Aguilar's going to have to use his legs. He's going to have to keep the football sometimes, but he has to get down because these guys are good sound tacklers. I think they hit hard. I think they play with bad intentions, not, you know, when I say that, I know some people might not. Like, not trying to injure somebody, but they are
playing the right way.
Yeah, you know, like that's how you're supposed to play it. Yeah. So, you know, I'm giving them some compliments here, but I just think that it's going to be a tough matchup. But as I said, I don't know how to say it any better or clearer than this. Tough matchup, and I think that it's one that Tennessee's ready for.
I think we are, man. I think this matchup is perfect for us right now. I think it being at night in Neyland is a huge advantage. I think Joey Aguilar is a difference. We saw last year we had success moving the ball offensively. We kind of shut it down last year against those guys. There was a really bad field. Offense wasn't even that good last year. And we kind of shut it down. But we had success hitting that little bender across the middle and all that stuff. I know the offense is different, so Oklahoma won't play us quite the same as it did last year. But I think, Heupel, he had things open. Things will be open again tonight, I think. I think we'll find ways to get things going in the run game, whether that's Joey pulling it a time or two just to keep him honest. Hey, like you said, please get down. Okay, we need you to get down. We still got a long season left. We got about how many weeks left to how many weeks is this to get to the next championship? That's how many weeks we got left. Okay, we're going all freaking way. But hey, I love Joey. Love this defense tonight. I think this defense steps up. And to me, like I always say, start stopping the run, but it starts with that defensive line. Can they come alive tonight with freaking Scary Neyland playing, or whatever, Spooky Neyland is called, or not Neyland, Rocky Top, Spooky Rocky Top playing, Dark Mode Neyland. Can they come alive tonight? Get these guys uncomfortable. Get the quarterback. Somebody called him in the live stream a couple days ago. Mid-tier. Can we get mid-tier freaking ruffled up and get him off his game? Can we create some turnovers and put these guys away early? Let's put up some points in the first half and go and put this game to bed.
Yeah, for sure. And last thing that I'll say before we start to get into some of these picks and talk about some of the things that's happened earlier today is we talked about them running a 4-3, and you brought up an excellent point. Last year they ran more of like a three-man front. It was they mixed it up. But the offensive scheme and system is different. The whole point, the whole reason that I'm saying this is what happens if they come out in a totally different front than what Tennessee maybe game plan for. Or do you think either we already this game plan for all of the options?
Yeah, maybe we have. And like we've seen all week or all season, the guys talking about, hey, every week the team shows us things we haven't seen on film. Every week. And I think we spent a lot of the offseason working on that and preparing for, hey, if teams get this. Like we freaking sat on the drawing board and we kept on drawing up ways. Went to Tim Banks and said, hey, Tim Banks, if I give you this, how are you going to play me here? Okay, what if I do this? How are you going to play me here? So I think we have the answers now, and we're ready for whatever they throw at us.
For sure. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into this real quick. Let's talk about some of these games. So this is actually,
It's old.
That's old. Sorry, y'all. That's been up for a while. So Louisville right now is beating Va Tech. We'd like to see Va Tech pull that one out. Indiana is rolling versus a team without a pulse. How all of a sudden now Georgia's winning? Hate to see that. But they are a second-half team. Florida's got to step it up. I think that they can still pull it out. This one's pretty close. Like we just had a score there. Texas Tech would like to see them go down too. Anybody that's anywhere near Tennessee, I want them losing. Cal, they've got a pretty good quarterback. I would like to see them pull one out. But then coming up, man, at 7 o'clock, we talked about this game, I think yesterday, P. South Carolina at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is favored by now 13.5 points, and the over-under is 55.5 points. What are you thinking here?
Man, this is another good matchup. I mean, the SEC is going to be nothing but good matchups. I think you look at South Carolina, their team, they have some high-end talent on that team. I don't know how deep they are, how much time they have, but some of the high-end guys, you look at Nick Harbour, you look at the quarterback, look at Dylan Stewart, some of the guys they got on that defensive line as well. I mean, they got some high-end guys. Is it enough to stop Ole Miss? Ole Miss is clicking right now. They should have had Georgia, freaking blew it just like we did. Went out there, looked good against OU in Norman last week. Okay, this is a really good team. You know, Lane Kiffin is a wizard with how he draws things up. One thing I will say is sometimes I think for the games that aren't the biggest games, he can tend to maybe kind of sleepwalk into that deal. Can South Carolina hop out on Ole Miss early and maybe get them playing behind the scoreboard a little bit and maybe play a little ball control, play a little keep away, can then force some turnovers and somehow pull us out? I'm not betting on it. I've picked South Carolina the past 3 or 4 weeks. They've let me down every time. So I'm using a little reverse psychology here. I'm picking Ole Miss to win this thing. I think Ole Miss is just too much for them. I think they win this one, probably cover the spread. I got them winning by about 2 or 3 scores now.
Yeah, man, I would like to be able to pick South Carolina too. And I honestly don't think that they will win. Like, just to keep it real with you. But you know what? I'm just gonna pick them just because that is Tennessee needs Ole Miss to lose to somebody that's just not. So they go to, I know, Mississippi State at the end of the year. That's one that maybe they could lose. And then they had another one that I can't think of off the top of my head that was going to be
I can't think of anybody.
possibly.
Had they played Mississippi State yet?
No, I'm saying that's at the end of the year.
Yeah, I have no idea. Did they play A&M?
No,
they don't play them.
they have somebody, but I don't remember what it is. But either way, we need for them to lose this game, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick South Carolina. Who else do we got in here, P? Really nothing. I mean, I don't think there's really any other games that we can even pick.
Yeah.
You know, I guess we can talk a little bit about what happened earlier today, and then we can get to our game. All right, so, Penn State loses pretty big there. Vandy came back and actually made this into a game. That's another, we needed Vandy to win that one, but they lose 31-34. SMU, they get a big-time victory. I think that'll help Tennessee because, looking at Notre Dame and all that, I mean, you just want as many teams that would be maybe on the bubble to be able to get in. You want them losing, right? Like, just to help. Because then maybe we can make it to the top 12. That's the whole point of things here. Man, Houston went down pretty big. I think that also helps Tennessee out as well. And then obviously Memphis already won. Okay, so now we can talk about our Tennessee Volunteers, man. It's pretty short because we didn't have to pick too many games today because we're doing it so late. But let's go ahead and jump into this one, man. So our Tennessee Volunteers ranked number 14 versus number 18 team. And Vegas says that Tennessee's going to win in about 29 to 26 or 27 points. But, P, how are you feeling about this? Tell me why Tennessee wins.
I just think Tennessee, man, I just think this is a perfect spot for us. I think we're a team, we've been doubted all year. You look at coming into the season, nobody believes in our offense. Now you look at us midway through the season, past midway point, nobody believes in our defense now. The offense is lighting up. The defense is what's letting us down. I think the defensive personnel is still there. I think we still have guys that can play. I think they've seen it on film. They've heard all the negativity, all the people doubting them. I think they come out here. Oh, is this one working? So
sorry about that.
I think they'll come out here tonight, and I think they'll play inspired football, man. I think the D-line shows up. They haven't shown up in several weeks, okay? It's been, since before we played Bama, I think, since the last time we saw these guys make a play. I think they'll show up tonight. I think we'll get some sacks. I think Josh Joseph shows up. I think you'll see Don Bailey. You'll see Eason finally make a sack this season. I think the D-line is really going to set the tone for us today. We're going to limit their ability to run the football, which is how it always starts for me. Everybody knows that. And then, like I said, man, I think offensively, the deep shots will be there. I think they may try to play soft early on. We'll get the run game going. And then once they try to come up, give us some looks that we like on the perimeter, Brazel over top, Mike Matthews over top, Braylon Staley. Maybe we'll see some of those freshmen get in. I think we'll see these guys make some plays. I think we'll score some points. We'll see how it goes. I mean, they're a talented team now. I'm not saying that. They got good defense, good offense. They have really good personnel everywhere. I think this game sets up beautifully for us. I got us winning this one, man. I got us putting up probably like 38 points. We'll call this one like 38 to 27, Tennessee.
Wow. Love that, P. Absolutely love that 38-27. So for me, I mean, I'll echo a whole lot of those same points. I mean, people have heard me break down this game all week long, and it just feels like the more film that I've watched on Oklahoma, offense and defense, I think they've got some pretty good things going on special teams too. Got to be careful there, and just in all honesty, don't kick it to those guys. But I start to have even more confidence. I think that our defense will have a good game plan. It is a tough matchup, honestly speaking, because their strengths and what they like to target, it is Tennessee's weaknesses. But I just feel like we're going to be up to the task. Like I feel like the defense is probably tired of people talking bad about them. I think that this is the game that they step up, and it's like a playoff situation. Stop the run first, and then get to the pass and all that type of stuff second. And I just think that with their young offensive tackles, with our grown men playing a defensive end, I think that we'll be really good. And then for our defensive tackles, if they can wreak some havoc like they're supposed to, like they're used to doing, haven't seen it for the past couple of weeks, then all of a sudden everything just comes together full circle. And like the second and third level doesn't matter as much. It's always going to matter, but maybe not as much. So I see the defense limiting an offense that's kind of trying to figure it out right now. I hope that this isn't the game that they figured out. I really, really do. But on offense, we've talked about it so many times. Just find a way to stop their blitz packages. Find a way to Whether that's screens, whether that's draws, find a way to hit the openings inside of their defense because there will be some holes. If you bring that much pressure, you're going to leave a whole lot of holes. Yeah. If you find them, you put up crazy, crazy numbers. I think that we might do that tonight. I just think that our guys are going to be fully ready, catch the damn football, hold on to the football. All that type of stuff, make tackles out in the open field. And Tennessee should be able to win, man. So I'm going to go, P. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling 38. And I'm doing this thing off the fly. I'm feeling 38-17, P.
Oh, man.
I'm feeling 38-17.
I love it.
That's how I'm feeling, dark mode. And it's something that we haven't even touched on. We got to touch on this at the very, very end. But, man, we got like 80 plus, almost like 100 big-time players coming up. The number one guy in the class of 2027, defensive end. I think he plays at Blessed Trinity. That's close to us, P. You already know about him. I think we got the number one cornerback, like the number one linebacker, number one running back. There's a lot of guys that are up. This is a huge weekend. And then, I have to shout out to my dog, Ethan Hauser, who is a Buford Wolf. He said that he will be at the game as well. Class of 27. He's a safety / linebacker hybrid, very similar to what Jaden P is. Yep. So Tennessee's doing some good things, but I'm hoping that we show out. So that's where we're at. Hope that y'all like this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we will be back post-game, hopefully with some excellent news, and we can celebrate as one big family. But thank y'all, and we'll see y'all then. Peace.